I guess it's putting a hold on a great deal. I'm actually due to semi-retire in a couple of months. And I guess I had so many plans for the coming year. But when this came along, just a couple of months ago, it just seemed to me like my life was just put on hold. Once I get to about here, it's starting to get quite tight there. I'm struggling to move above this level. But in terms of behind my back, again, it's really tight from there. It was very, very painful. And slowly I've started to live a little with the pain. I've lost count of the number of tablets I've taken. Every now and again it gives you a little reminder as to just how painful it can be. And it's almost like you have a range that you're able to live comfortably inside, but as soon as you extend beyond that range, gosh, that's when it's really sharp.
He's got some thickening of this coracoacromial ligament, which is quite common with this condition. Surgically, they'll perforate it, but I'm going to actually do some very heavy soft tissue work on it once I open up the capsule to try and loosen up that ligament. It's going to be important that gets loosened up in order for him to be able to reach behind his back as well, which is a position that is quite difficult for patients even after I've opened up the actual capsule.
I probably wake up 2, 3, 4 times every single night, just simply lying, turning onto my shoulder. Maybe as I turn sometimes, just goes outside the range, and I get that sharpness, and it's instant. It wakes you up instantly.
He's also got these two bursitis. He's got a subdeltoid under the deltoid muscle and under the acromion bursitis, these two sort of pads that protect the tendons from rubbing against the bones, and that's going to take some time to actually clear up after I actually open up the joint itself. Otherwise, it's looking relatively good. It's pretty impacted.
Well, I'm a keen golfer, and I would say that I was really looking forward in 2016, becoming age 55, to be able to play a lot more golf. That, I suppose, was the thing that first went into my mind when I first was told I had this problem and that it could last 2 or 3 years. Effectively, I had an injection, cortisone injection.
The first cortisone shot he had didn't really do anything for him.
Told that I must go away and come back in a few months' time to see him again, which in a way is a little disappointing because you go away knowing you have the problem.
He had a pretty bad accident in 2014 in April where a transit vehicle, a streetcar basically, ran into the back of his car, causing a herniation on the right side of the C3-4 disc. If I hold this one down, that's it, right? He's had 3 previous back operations as well, so he is quite apparently got this compression of nerves going down into the upper shoulder region. Try to put that behind your back, so that's it, just touching the back pocket. Okay.
Hello.
Yes, nice to meet you.
Yeah. We're injecting him some anesthetic, and we're also going to inject some anti-inflammatory to keep the inflammation down after we open up the actual joint capsule. And
excited to know that it could perhaps within a few hours be quite different, but always a little nervous, of course. Traveling so far, meeting people you're not known to. My job is to open up the joint, and then Dr. Marshall, when you go back to the UK and see him, he's going to deal with all the leftover stuff, the stuff that was there before. We didn't want to do an injection in the front of the capsule because it was so badly impacted that there might have been some damage to the nerves. We elected just to go to the posterior capsule.
It's a little bit not so comfortable, but it's not painful.
You got a pretty good solid case of frozen shoulder there. Pretty, if I were to, it's if there was 10 grades of it, you're pretty much at, grade 9 or 10, So.
And now I make injection.
Any in the front. Sure. Take effect for a few minutes and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah, get it going through. Beautiful.
Once I tried.
If it was 10 grades, he'd be at least a grade 9.
I didn't ask him to say that.
We're ready to start the operation now. Come on in.
Okay.
Just get me on here.
Okay.
Oh, I'm going to come right in. I'm going to. I've got a glove for his hand, please.
The most wobbliest. He's really kicking in.
Close your eyes and just focus on my voice and nothing but my voice. As you continue to listen to my voice, all other sounds will begin to dissipate. Keeping your eyes closed, I'm going to have you take 3 long, deep breaths. And breathing all the way out, feeling your body relax, every muscle in your body relaxing more. If you feel like opening your eyes, they'll become heavy, the eyelids become heavier. Doubling your relaxation now. You see those steps and you're going to descend those steps. As you descend the steps, you will begin to fall into a deep, deep sleep. 3, deeper and deeper down. 2, 1, 0, deeply asleep. Now, I have a small tank of helium. I'm filling the balloon with helium as I speak now to you. As it does so, it begins to rise toward the ceiling, raising up. Very good, very, very good. Anything that you would have experienced as pain in the past will no longer be experienced as pain. You'll feel a warm or hot flowing sensation. When you hear me say the words, relax now, you'll fall back into a deep, deep sleep. I'm going to slowly let the air out of the balloon. I'm letting it out and your arm begins to drop down. I'm letting the air out now and your arm is coming back down again. Come on in. Have a shot. So this is the line that he's going to need to be straight. This is the main line here. And that's going to be good on the through, just so he sees it, so he knows where his arm is. Oh, gosh. Let me get this in. Okay. Breathing. Westy. And again, Allan, go. Hard as you can. Press. Okay, with the other hand. Now, what you're going to see is a phenomenon. Because his brain has lost the spatial orientation for connections of the motor neurons and the reflexes in this position. And his brain won't know where his hand is. He has no idea where his hand is. How do you think you can find your hand? Ah, smart Alec, huh? Smarty pants there, eh? He knew. He was only the smartest of my patients do that, by the way.
Get a badge for that one.
He gets a badge for that one. So, here we are.
Yes. Should shake your hand.
Yeah, how is it?
Fantastic.
Let me see you move it. Let me see you move it.
See the movement?
Yeah, let me see you do. Let me see you do this. Wow.
And my wife has had me doing the slow motion.
Oh, slow motion, yeah.
Look at this.
Literally millimeters. She
Yeah.
said, "You're going too fast. You're
Yeah.
going too fast." So I did.
Yeah. Holy smokes. Look at you, eh? Every single hour you were knocking him on the head, going, "Get up, get up, get up."
Yes, yeah.
And you finally gave her. Did you let her off the hook at some point?
It took me until 4 a.m. for her to stay in bed.
I was
She wanted
to do next.
keep helping, keep getting up, and
And you made sure you did them right.
Yeah,
'Cause
his
he
eyes,
wanted-
his eyes closed and he was saying, what next? So I said, right, up behind your back.
on the back.
You have to pull it over, don't you?
that one under
3
that.
stages. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my goodness, I can't believe you're doing it. That's wonderful. Look at that.
Brilliant.
Because our mind was so much on the exercises, I even forgot to take the painkiller tablets. So we went, was it 9 hours?
Yeah.
I think it was 9 hours with no ibuprofen painkiller. And I thought, towards the end, at about 10 a.m. this morning, I thought, it's getting a little sharper, you know, like all the pain relief has worn out. That's when my wife said, well, you haven't had any tablets for such a long time. Maybe you should have some. That was quite surprising. Maybe that was the concentration.
Yeah.
Trying to do the...
And the tiredness as well.
And the tiredness. Doing exercises with your eyes closed, yeah. Yeah.
Good, see if you can touch the wall. There.
But we've seen some improvement through the evening. I could notice from maybe 10, 11 o'clock that by between 5 and 6 this morning, really started to see some improvement. You know, the actual Paula was saying that at my back, my hand seemed to be getting higher at my back. By lunchtime today, the pain with a little pain relief, ibuprofen, is not so much pain, but like a stretching. You know, it's almost like you have a tightness in a muscle, and so you can feel that stretch tight. Which I know Dr. Olo, he mentioned it's good pain where it's not sharp, but more of a stretch. I felt that I'm on the right track then. Well, I think just the practicing my golf swing back up there in the hotel, just very gently, is the big thing for me.
This is the shoulder I did? This one? Really?
Sure, Paula's going to be pleased that I'm going to be able to do more.
Not such a frustrated golfer anymore.
It's not so frustrating, no.
Good. Then face this wall. Good. Okay.
It just surprised me a little, you know. It almost seemed like maybe some of the British medical people need to do their research, you know, need to help their clients.
Yeah.
As I had to do my own research, which I had. Yes, in which I should say I had other reasons in between before I even found your name and the OAT treatment. I was searching for something else because of what happened back in 2014. When I went to see my physio, he was a really great guy, and he was the person who said, I just don't want to touch you. I don't want to do anything.
That was so smart. That was so, I mean, I give so much credit to a physiotherapist who actually says that and acknowledges the reality of the situation, has done his own homework, and looks at the studies and what they show, and has had enough experience to know, and enough honesty, enough experience to know that he's not going to be able to help you, or potentially could make it worse, which he even told you. Because that's what the statistics show, that's what the studies show.
I know one or two people in our office, including our office manager, a lovely lady, and she had this problem about 10 years ago, and it lasted about 2 years. And she said, Al, I don't think there's anybody who can help you. And I said, you should read this, because just looking at the YouTube video, looks like there is somebody who can help, but nobody's telling you this. So that's when I went back to my physio. That's when he said, I can't help you, but let me tell you, if I was you, if I had this problem, you should go and see this guy. But the tiredness is almost gone.
And that's Trigenics. That's just Trigenics. That's all Trigenics. That's how fast it works.
People said to me about coming here, how do you feel about going to a country you've never been to meet somebody you've never met or spoken with? And I said to them, I'm going with an open mind. But I'm going with a positive attitude, because even though I looked on the internet and read almost every word on your website, when I turn up and Dr. Olo is there, then that's the first step I take. Every step I take increases the positive attitude. And so that's how I've probably been over the last few days, is just building the steps. And so for others, I would say, have the open mind, come and experience, and then you see the results. And for me, to be able to put my arms up like this, I really don't need to say too much, because yesterday, this arm would only go to about there.